Hey gamers, welcome back to NickPlays, your ultimate source for everything PlayStation 5. Are you ready to test your limits? And today, we're diving into the dark side of gaming. You asked for pain, you got it. We're counting down the 10 hardest games on PS5 that'll test your skills, crush your spirit, and maybe even make you rage quit. But hey, that's why we love them, right? These aren't just tough, they're brutal. And yes, every single one is playable on PS5. Let's get into it. Kicking off our list at number 10, Team Ninja's Wolong, Fallen Dynasty. This game's all about mastering the deflect mechanic. Miss a single timing and you're dead. With relentless enemies and chaotic three-way battles, even Souls veterans will sweat. Good news, the PS5 version runs buttery smooth, which just means you'll see your failures in glorious 60 FPS. From the makers of Ninja Gaiden and Nioh, Wolong, Fallen Dynasty is a demanding action-adventure set in a dark vision of the Three Kingdoms later Han Dynasty. You play as a nameless soldier fighting human and demonic threats and must maintain your morale rank to succeed against powerful foes and brutal bosses. At number 9, the 2023 reboot of Lords of the Fallen. Don't let the name fool you. This is a next-level challenge. The dual-world umbral system means death isn't just a setback, it's a trap. Enemies swarm you from both realms, and the PS5's SSD makes those hellish load times instant, perfect for dying faster. In Lords of the Fallen, you play as one of the fabled Dark Crusaders, who must journey through the realms of the living and the dead to disrupt the reign of Erdtree, a cruel tyrant who has ushered in a new age of devastation for humanity. Along the way, you'll endure colossal boss battles and get to grips with a fast and challenging combat system. With 9 character classes and hundreds of weapons to choose from, you'll customize your hero and develop your own playstyle as you set out to defy the gods. Number 8 goes to the Dragon's Dogma 2. Capcom's sequel is bringing back the OG's ruthless difficulty. Remember fighting a griffin at level 10 in the first game? The PS5 version's improved physics and AI will make those oh no moments even wilder. Choose your Arisen's vocation and create your trusted main pawn before you set out into a pair of distinct kingdoms full of mystery, monsters, and magic. Overcome giant foes by using strategy and cunning. The very land around you could be a weapon in waiting. This long-awaited sequel to a cult classic adventure adds improved character customization, enhanced enemy intelligence, the latest physics technology, and more to deliver a deep, explorable, and truly immersive fantasy world.
Arisen, are you alright?
Number 7 is LiesOfP, a Bloodborne-inspired nightmare, where even the Pinocchio memes won't save you. This game's parry system is unforgiving, and the PS5's DualSense haptics make every blocked hit feel like a real punch to the gut. Pro tip, don't get attached to your controller or your sanity. In this grim reimagining of Carlo Collodi's treasured tale, Pinocchio is trying to find the mysterious Mr. Geppetto. LiesOfP isn't as difficult as Sekiro or Bloodborne, which are the giants that inspired it. But make no mistake, this game still frequently poses a stiff challenge, and for those not paying attention or properly leveraging its mechanics, can be quite a punishing experience. Though its many quality-of-life tweaks iron out many of the genre's usual annoyances, it's in its combat and boss fights that LiesOfP really starts asking questions of players. Number 6 is Returnal, Housemarque's roguelike that'll make you question your life choices. Imagine dying in a boss fight, losing all progress, and then the DualSense laughs at you with creepy controller sounds. PS5's 3D audio? Yeah, it's so immersive you'll hear your hopes shatter in real time. For years, fans have been clamoring for a more challenging sci-fi survival game in the vein of space horror titles like Dead Space or Alien Isolation. Needless to say, there are games in that genre to pick from, but not too many, especially near the beginning of the PlayStation 5's launch. So, Returnal was a game that caught the eye of many fans. You play as Selene, a space pilot who, while on a solo mission, crash lands on the planet Atropos and has to fare with its very inhospitable forces. It is equal parts survival sci-fi, horror, and third-person roguelike, so suffice it to say it is a challenge. However, the lack of a traditional save mechanic meant that Returnal was among one of the least finished titles of 2021. Halfway through at number 5, Sifu. This kung fu gym punishes you literally. Every death ages you, and if you hit 70, game over. The PS5 version's silky combat is satisfying, until you realize you've replayed the same hallway 20 times. Spoiler, you'll retire before beating the final boss. Sloclap's Kung Fu Brawler has quickly turned into a fan favorite since its release in 2021, and a big reason for that has been the perfect tuning of its difficulty. At its core, the game makes every hit, every dodge, and every action feel weighted and high stakes, because even the smallest wrong decision can set off a string of deadly blows that can ruin a run. Meanwhile, outside of its inherent moment-to-moment difficulty, the game complicates things further still with its aging up mechanic. Conquering Sifu's many hurdles is no easy task, but boy is it an absolute blast.
Shame I'll have to throw you back through it. Too late to back out now.
Number 4. Nioh 2, Team Ninja's masterpiece of pain. The PS5 remaster cranks this up to 120 FPS, so you can witness your demise in hyper-smooth detail. With stamina management, yokai abilities, and bosses that cheat, let's just say, rage quit ASMR. This is one of those games where criticisms of the difficulty almost being unfair are louder than they are for most others mentioned in this list. Team Ninja has developed many challenging games, but none as devilishly so as Nioh 2. Sadistic enemy placements, overwhelmingly large mobs of foes, bosses with unreasonably attack patterns and damage output. In more ways than one, Nioh 2 will try to make life difficult for you. More often than not, it manages to not cross over into the territory of being downright unfair, but it doesn't always avoid that pitfall, and even when it does, it knows how to test your patience. podium starts here. At number 3, Demon's Souls Remake. Bluepoint's PS5 showpiece is stunning and sadistic. World tendency, limited healing, and bosses that exploit the PS5's SSD to load your tears faster. This is the game that started the Souls craze, and it's still merciless. The From Software title that started it all, Demon's Souls, saw something of a resurgence as one of the PS5's original launch titles. The hit remake saw Bluepoint Games acquired by PlayStation. However, maybe the years have made From Software more understanding, and thus this is where the developer has taken pity on newer beginners. As in games like Elden Ring and Bloodborne, you can leave tips and hints to help others avoid certain death, especially when it comes to more tricky parts. But more than that, if you find yourself vastly underleveled and under-equipped, you will quickly find that taking the time to level up your skills and arsenal will pay you back tenfold, making the endgame much more manageable. Number 2, Bloodborne, the PS4 classic that's still a PS5 nightmare. No native upgrade, but 30 FPS won't save you from Lady Maria or the Orphan of Kos. Aggressive combat, zero shields, and lore that'll haunt your dreams. Hey Sony, where's that 60 FPS patch? Still waiting, although it still has yet to be natively ported to the latest console from PlayStation. That hasn't stopped Bloodborne from being frequented on several best games ever made lists. However, it is a very hard title. And while fans have repeatedly begged From Software to change its formula and approach to difficulty in the series, the studio stuck to its guns. Aside from the trademark Gothic Victorian aesthetic that Bloodborne is known for, the story is equal parts creepy. You play the role of the hunter who frequents the streets of fictional Yharnam, fighting off its diseased inhabitants. As a hunter, you encounter many ferocious creatures straight out of H.R. Geiger's Necronomicon. The rest are just the usual buyer beware that comes with From Software games. And the crown for number 1 goes to Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree. From Software's DLC is their hardest creation yet. With bosses so brutal, they make Nioh look easy. The PS5's haptic feedback? It'll make every death hurt. But hey, at least the lands of Shadow are pretty, right before they end you. Yes, we're including an expansion here, but let's face it, Shadow of the Erdtree is both larger and better than most other full-fledged games out there. It is also one of the most difficult things we played in recent memory, even by From Software standards, which is really saying something. Even ridiculously high-level late-game characters are instantly humbled by even regular enemies walking around in the realm of Shadow, and there's no shortage of bosses that you'll be dying to ad nauseum for hours and hours on end. Shadow of the Erdtree was designed as a late-game ranking up of challenge for what is already a notoriously difficult game, and it delivers on the premise with great aplomb. So gamers, how many of these have you beaten? Smash that like button if you've suffered through at least 3, and comment which game broke you the hardest. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, because next week, we're tackling the easiest PS5 games. Just kidding, we don't do easy here. Stay hardcore, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.